Now just imagine, if you will, Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot and Ryan Johnson's Benoit Blanc together solving a crime. Now that's a cinematic universe I'd like to see.
Oh my God.
Tell me what happened to my grandfather. I think you have something you want to tell me.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to finally be talking about Knives Out. I had a chance to see it 2 other times, early screenings. I missed it. Finally, I get to see it. I'm talking about it here with you guys, spoiler free, of course. Tell me in the comments below if you had a chance to see this movie. What did you think of it? If you love whodunit films, and if you do, what's your favorite? And don't forget, guys, consider clicking on that subscribe button. I talk movies, TV shows, anything that I love to talk about. But in the meantime, let's talk Knives Out. When renowned crime novelist Harlan Thrombey is found dead at his estate after his 85th birthday, the inquisitive and debonair detective Benoit Blanc is mysteriously enlisted to investigate. From Harlan's dysfunctional family to his devoted staff, Blanc shifts through a web of red herrings and self-serving lies to uncover the truth behind Harlan's untimely death. So as I said, this is a spoiler-free review. I will not be revealing any of the plot. That's the worst thing you can do for a whodunit. That will ruin the entire experience of figuring out what the twist is and who the murderer is and etc. But as far as a whodunit, I love these type of films. Keep in mind, at the end of the video, I will recommend other movies that are just like this if you love Knives Out. Ryan Johnson ventures through the same concept as you would see in a usual whodunit, but there's a bit of a twist. It goes a little bit deeper than the typical murder, okay, let's figure out who's the one who did it. It really goes into other directions, and just when you're an hour into this movie and you think you've figured it out, there's a lot more that's going on than you think. You go really deep into that rabbit hole and figure out that there's more to it than just a simple murder. But other than the fact that it's a fun time figuring out who is the murderer and figuring out the clues with the investigators, it's also a very character-driven type of storyline. And it's not just for Knives Out, it's for any of the whodunits that you may have seen. And you have very interesting personalities, very fascinating characters, and there's a reason for that, because it gives you a reason to find motivation for why they may or may not be the murderer. And with what Ryan Johnson did with Knives Out, he has such a great ensemble cast, just like you would in a whodunit, but very, very popular stars. So it makes it very hard to suspect who may be the murderer. And you have the investigator be played by Daniel Craig, which gives an amazing performance. I'd never seen him do anything quite like it, but he seems like a type of Poirot that you would have seen in Agatha Christie's stories and films, and I think that was Ryan Johnson's intent. But it plays off of these type of movies, but he is doing it in his own way. And now with Ryan Johnson, he is a director that has been getting a lot of backlash in regards to his movies. I'm talking Last Jedi. And I will be honest, I am not the biggest fan of The Last Jedi. I loved how it was made. He did a good job in creating the movie. It's just the storyline I was a little bit disappointed in. There's some things I wish he would have changed. But in regards as a filmmaker, I didn't think he did a terrible job, and I didn't think he ruined Star Wars as much as a lot of people said he did. So when he was making Knives Out, this was something that really intrigued me, so I figured I'm going to give him another chance. I'm not the type that's going to boycott him just because I didn't like Last Jedi, so I figured let's give him a chance, and I was really, really impressed with what he did with this type of storyline. And I must say, I was not bored one bit. The movie is over 2 hours long. It's a lot of dialogue. As I said, there's no action. It's mystery. It's solving a case. A lot of conversations between 2 or more characters. So it makes you really dissect in what's going on. So don't expect any physical action, or a lot of it at least. And here you're just really looking at these characters and focusing on what's going on. But the way Ryan Johnson unfolds the storyline, you really are immersed into it, and it does feel like a classic whodunit, but in a more modern age. And since I mentioned modern, I like what Johnson does with this movie. He adds a little bit of the PC issues that are going on in the present day, whether it's feminism or immigration, and you see that pointed to certain characters in the movie. One in particular that I did like, and I thought it was kind of funny, was that there's one character played by Jaden Martell who portrays the character of Jacob Thrombey, and he is portrayed as the kind of the internet troll of the internet age, and he's always on his phone in the movie, and he's probably doing all the tweets and anything he's doing on social media, and that kind of symbolizes all the backlash that Johnson has been getting throughout the past few years, especially with The Last Jedi. And I'm not the type to really go after people like that. I don't do any of that, but I do see a lot of that stuff going on Twitter. It's kind of ridiculous, and it comes to the point where it's ridiculous and kind of rude how people act like that. So I kind of find it funny that that's his way of fighting back to the people that are like that, because there really is no need for that. I don't care if it's Star Wars or what, but he is the director of this film, so that there symbolizing what that embodiment of the troll is kind of hilarious for him to put that as one of the characters in this movie. I don't want to get too political, but this movie is just fun in the end. It's well written, it's smart, it has good dialogue. It's a movie that is aware that the audience is intelligent enough to follow along and figure it out for themselves, but it's still complex in a way that you want to watch it again to see what you missed before. But guys, check this movie out. It is so much fun. You're going to be guessing all the way till the end, and you're going to be impressed with the outcome of it, hopefully like I was. But as I did say before, I had a few recommendations of other whodunit movies that you may like. Some you may have already seen, but these are some of my personal favorites. First, Murder on the Orient Express. Both the 1974 version and the remake, I did like both, but the original one is 10 times better. You have a great cast, a murder mystery. It's just very traditional in the sense of the whodunit, and Poirot is the main protagonist, the investigator, investigating all of the people on the train on who may be the suspect of this murder. It's just a fun time, both versions, but I do recommend the original one. The next one is Clue, based on the classic board game. This is a very fun movie. It's a bit of a comedy, and it is also a whodunit, but this is a fun time. This is a very much a personal favorite for me, and probably for a whole lot of other people. And lastly, this is one that some people tend to have forgotten about. It came out in 2001, Gosford Park. This one has a Downton Abbey type of spin to it. It's set within a kind of a Downton Abbey setting in a mansion with this very rich, high up type of people, and there's a murder in the home, and they're figuring out who was the one that was the murderer. And this was a very elegantly made type of film from Julian Fellows, who had written Downton Abbey. But these are movies, they're all fun to watch in their own way, but very much a whodunit. But once again, thank you guys for hearing my thoughts on Knives Out. Please go check it out, and if you already did, once again in the comments below, tell me what you thought about this movie, and also tell me what your favorite whodunit movie is. Thank you so much, and don't forget to consider clicking on the subscribe button so we can talk movies and more. I'll see you later.